In this presentation, we are going to explore displacement reactions. We will see how metals can be put in competition with each other to see which is the more reactive. So it's a bit like a match in sport. One metal against another, and the loser is left with nothing. Let's take a look at an example. In a displacement reaction, a more reactive metal will displace a less reactive metal from its compounds. For example, when magnesium reacts with copper sulfate, the products are magnesium sulfate and copper. So you can see how magnesium, which is the more reactive metal, displaced copper from its compound copper sulfate, so the product now is magnesium sulfate. So copper was first part of the solution, copper sulfate, and by the end of the reaction, copper is solid because magnesium displaced copper from its original compound, which is copper sulfate. So which of the following do you think is the ionic equation that shows the reaction when we mix magnesium powder with copper sulfate solution? Is it the first one, the second, or the third? Think about it. Excellent, this is correct. So at first the reactants are Mg solid and Cu2 plus, which is aqueous. Magnesium is solid because it's powder, and Cu2 plus is aqueous because it's part of copper sulfate, which is a solution. At the end of the reaction, when magnesium displaces copper, magnesium becomes part of the solution magnesium sulfate, and therefore it's now Mg2 plus magnesium ion, which is aqueous, plus Cu solid, which is the copper solid that was displaced from the compound. And this is how magnesium displaces copper ions from the solution. So magnesium loses 2 electrons and Cu2 plus gains 2 electrons to become Cu, which is solid. But when magnesium loses its 2 electrons, it becomes Mg2 plus, which is the magnesium ion. So to conclude, a more reactive metal will displace a less reactive metal from its compounds.